How do? So I'm gonna be going about this as if it was a dated what I've got on this week in August video, mainly because if I'd left it to a whole monthly catch up, I think there is a chance that it could have just been too much to talk about in one video. Getting a bit annoyed with how long my videos have been recently. It's like 20 minutes was like the last one, and you know, when I've got the whole raw footage to work with and it's like half an hour long, it just puts me off, and it lengthens the whole process between me speaking and you hearing me speak. So I just want to try and break things up a bit. I do actually have stuff from this very 7 days to show you, but there's going to be stuff from, you know, the previous 2 weeks of August. But also, this will mark another anniversary of TWIT, because I'll be putting this up as, you know, whatever the date was on Monday. But the date of the time that the first episode of TWIT in the first season was dated was this last Thursday. And I know that wasn't the date that it was uploaded, but you know, I might as well mark the time somehow, even if it isn't accurately. So this will be technically the last episode of season 2, I guess. Not that it makes any difference to anyone but me. Let's get on though. I'm showing you the lovely classics that I've got so far this month. Oh, there's some nice stuff here. Oh yeah. First off, I ended up actually ordering these in July, and you know, you will remember, hopefully from my last videos, I was on a really big sort of Unicron trilogy. I'm not sure what right word to use. It would be trip high, something along those lines. And despite the fact that I didn't really have a lot of money, I still went and bought a couple of figures I really wanted on eBay. I found them for, it was a pretty good price, and they got put together because they were from the same guy. Big massive box arrived. It was great. Without the postage, which was a bit much, and it did take a little while longer to get than I would have liked, they were shelf price from 2004. MISB Unicron Trilogy figures for $9.99. You can't beat that. So first up, we've got Energon Tow Line. I wanted this thing for so long. I've wanted this since I knew it existed, since 2004. I remember going to a small sort of sci-fi convention back then and seeing a load of Energon Deluxe figures that I had never seen anywhere, but they were all £15, and for some reason I found that far too expensive, so I ended up getting Rodimus, and I had to leave Downshift and Tow Line, and I think there might have been Slug Slinger behind, and I was like, oh, I really want all of these, I can't get all of them. And so, you know, the thought of owning Tow Line lingered in my mind for all those years, and now I've got it, and oh yes, ticks all those boxes that I wanted it to. I mean, well, for a start, it's a bit odd, yeah, it's a big sort of van. I see it as a sort of mobile TV broadcasting van. It's got all these dishes up top, but maybe it's, I don't know, some sort of communications truck, some sort of secret FBI listening in type thing. I don't know. I see it as a TV van because it's brightly coloured. It's also shaped slightly like the Mystery Machine, but it's hefty. It's properly weighty. It's solid all the way through, and it weighs so much more than even some of the biggest figures we get today. It is a testament to heft and solid plastic and the days of properly good chunk. Of course, when you transform it, you sort of tear it in half and you get this tank rover, is what it's called, thing. And I mean, it's a bit odd that you have essentially a massive accessory for the robot, but it's cool. It's like G1 Ratchet, and I guess that's what they were trying to homage here. Energon being the 20th anniversary line, of course, and now moving into the 30th anniversary line. That makes me feel old, but yeah, it's cool. It rolls along. It's got little treads on the front like G1 Ratchet's thing, and it's, you know, it's just not very obtrusive as a gimmick, although it does of course make half of the vehicle mode. I don't know, it's a bit odd, and you can power link things on here and it just looks silly, but it's fun. I really don't understand what his gun is meant to be. You fold out the sort of dish setup, and it's this thing, some sort of weird ray gun affair, but the end of it is like a metal detector. That's not the barrel of a weapon. What's it? What? Does it spin round? What goes on here? How does this? How can this emit things that hurt people? I don't know. It's odd, and I don't know if I really like it. This little dish bit looks fairly weaponisable, but this long thing, I don't know. The robot himself is pretty simple. You know, you can sort of imagine what goes on here. He just folds up to make the top of the truck, and it's I don't know. It's pretty nice. I like it. It's something different. He's got the sort of nice windows on his chest. He's got a gold face. His head looks very much like Skid's. There's a lot of sort of Skid's coloration going on here. It's like a sort of mix between Ratchet and Skid's, because he's got the white chest and he turns into a big vanish, almost ambulance thing. I think this did actually get repainted as Ratchet in a bot concept one year. But I just like it. It is a bit of a simple robot, but it's of that nice, I'm going to say classical, Unicron trilogy sort of style, where he's nice and sort of chunky. He's got big legs and big joints, and yeah, it's just a good looking robot. What else came with him was something which I guess I was slightly more excited to get, because I guess the focus of my whole jaunt back into the years between 2002 and 2006 was focused on Armada, and so when I got my hands on an old Armada figure in its packaging again, that just felt so good. And I've got Rhinox. This is my first Rhinox. He's a repaint, retool of the Transmetal Rhinox from Beast Wars, and I love it. This is just really well done. There's a lot to like about it. I like the sort of colours going on. This sort of dry brushed orange or yellow sort of stuff he's got on his chest, and sort of metallic-y, I'm going to say sort of bronze. I guess it's a sort of dark metallic red, I don't know. It's just a nice metallic colour for most of the Rhino, and you've got lots of silver on him as well. Paint apps are excellent. This is from the days when paint was really good, and then when you've got the remoulded Howling Sports, you've got this sort of flowing circuitry like power glow stuff. That's some really nice paintwork going on there. And he's got treads on his back, and the way that all goes there just feels right. This is just perfect placement of parts going on here. And then if you open his chest up, where he would have had a rub sign being a Beast Wars figure, they've got him moulded in an Autobot symbol. That's just, yes, top notch. And of course, he turns into a robot Rhino that can then turn into a sort of snowmobile Rhino. What's not to like? He is a podgy powerhouse. And of course, being an Armada figure, he comes with a mini-con, but of course being a sort of Beast Wars repaint, essentially, he comes with a bit of a oddly matched one. I do rather like him though, because it's a mould I don't have. I don't have the Adventure Team, thus having Armour Hide here substitutes for Iceberg in that lot, and he's a nice sort of snowplow thing where he's got a weird sort of rolling along and the bits go chomp. But there's a nice little sort of posable crane arm on there. Lovely silver treads, which I'm slightly worried are tarnishing a bit. But yeah, nice new Minicon too. Excellent, and he's quite big for a Minicon as well. Oh, it's just, yes. Bit of a shame that his transformation is a bit, you know, you can see exactly what has happened here. And he has a sort of ruff made out of the pointy bits of the plough. Interesting. So, now we move on to figures which, or at least a figure, which I sort of alluded to as the only sort of thing I'd be able to afford in the last video. I've got little Cyberverse Hunger. So he's a sort of pretty hefty, two-headed dragony thing. It's not really a dragon, is it? He hasn't got any wings. I don't know what to call it. I don't know, Ghidorah wannabe. It's another truly blows it out of the park little Legion figure, this. For a start, it's pretty big. Compared to any of the others, in this mode especially, it's just, in every way, it's bigger. So, probably good value for money here. And I just really like it. It's sort of being little, and he's got these sort of funny little kangaroo arms. it's a sort of cute little dragony thing, but at the same time it is just really sort of brutal looking. Just a bit of a shame you can't really put his chainsaw gun anywhere really very good in that mode. It had to sort of stick on the side of his leg. Wish they just put a port on the top so it can just sit on the top and just be out of the way, but that's an incredibly minor thing, especially when you realise that this is a combiner torso. So here he is in robot mode. I mean, being a Legion figure, there wasn't really much point in me showing you both modes, but I just wanted to sort of show it off. He's just beefy. He's wide and thick set, and I'm not sure I really like what his legs are doing because they are also very thick and sort of slightly bent. It just makes him look a bit wibbly and quite fat, but I think that sort of fits when he goes around sort of eating anything he can find. He needs to be portly but also look powerful. He commands respect like some sort of mafia don, and if we take that metaphor further, then obviously Twin Strike could be the equivalent of clamps in that robot mafia. So yeah, he's got, you know, dragon head clogs on, and you can give him some Wolverine claws. Overall, very much worth £5, and I got him for £3.50 in Tesco sale. Even better! On to some more dragony things. This was another suitably reduced item. I just thought I'd better get while it is that price because the Tesco sale had ended, and I went to Smythe's and found a Laserback for £9.50. He seemed to have dropped off the face of every other supermarket. So Mr. John, if you're watching, and all those times you told me that Laserback was in Smythe's, I've probably gone and bought the very one you were talking about. It's nice, yes. He's a big, red, burly monster bloke. I like the paint, nice little gold, and it just looks good. Really sort of punchy and bright and eye-catching. And I've got to say, while I have been saying in the past that all the Predacon figures look a bit poo, I think this is my favourite deluxe Beast Hunter figure so far. It's just cool, it's fun, I don't care. He's got dragon hands hanging off the back of his own hands. I don't really care that his legs don't do a lot. It's a good figure. Once you get it in hand, you just go, yeah, that's fun, I can enjoy it. It's just a romp. He's really nicely poseable. I don't understand why his shoulder pads do this, because nothing needs to go on here for transformation. He's got sort of fake spark crystals in his thighs, a little bit of a, I suppose, Transmetal 2 homage there, because he has got a bit of a sort of Transmetal 2 beast mode, I suppose. You can see by the sort of rubbish, let's face it, tail weapon he's got with this sort of thing on the end. I also don't understand why the peg in here is offset so it can only fit in his right hand. Yet I've seen pictures of it fitting in his left hand, and I suppose you can sort of do that, but it's clearly not meant to because you're just stretching all the rubbery stuff. So why it's only meant to go in his right hand, I don't know, and it goes on so far that it completely covers it up and it just looks like he's got some sort of weird tentacle arm. Oh. Let's move on. The laser on his back, it's another thing I sort of don't really get as well. He really just can't hold it in his hand. It's like the post is too short, and then because of the missile sticking out the back, you can't have it like centralised. It has to be off at a weird angle. Why? Although I suppose being called Laserback, it's okay to just leave it on his back. Another weird bit of design is I don't understand how this opens up. Why do you have, you know, the sides of the beast's back open like that? Surely you should have had these halves stay on his back to open up and then reveal the launcher coming up out of there. That's what I thought when I first saw pictures of him, and then when I saw further bits and pieces to do with this figure and saw that, I just thought, that's lazy. What is going on here? Why does it need to open and show you a tiny bit more detail? Just leave it like that. Why? I don't understand. And of course, with the fact you can't really put it in his hand, you have to have him hold this all the time because there's nowhere to store all of the stuff. That's what I would have liked, really, to have been able to have that somewhere else. You can go take that, put it on there, just have stuff out of the way, because he has got really good hands, and I'd like to be able to pose him without holding anything. But definitely, if you're on the fence about this guy, just go and pick him up. It's just really satisfying because he's just sort of thick set. He's got nice big joints, and you can just plonk him down anywhere and he'll stand up because he's got massive feet. It's good. And the beast modes, it's a little bit hampered by the fact that his head can't really move because of the way it all comes out of his chest and goes up. It's still pretty nice. It's just something really different and new, and yeah, I love it. Okay, so on to things that actually did arrive this week. I say arrive because I've got some bits all the way from the USA. Good old Eddie, Edward Rigney 1, if you don't know, I don't need to explain. You should already be subscribed to his channel. If you're not, there's a link down there somewhere. Just go and hit that subscribe button. He's done more reviews than you've had hot dinners. There's going to be something on there you're going to like. He sent me a couple of old figures, completely free of charge, which is really nice of him. I've got a Transmetal Rat Trap and Fusor's Noctoro. They're pretty good. I say that mainly because they were free. They're not actually that good. Rat Trap here, of course, he is, you know, he's a nice figure, but he's missing his tail. He's a bit beat up. I cannot fathom how all his robot limbs are meant to fit underneath in his rat mode. I just can't work it out, and I'm going to need to go find an instruction scan because it shouldn't work, and I have no idea what's going on. But as a little freewheeling rat dragster that he is, he's pretty cool. And you know, this is my first rat trap, so that's nice. Noctoro is an odd one. Gotta say, this might be the most basic of the Beast Wars basics I've experienced. The transformation is just, there's just nothing to it. There's just hardly anything going on here. His beast mode is a bat bull, which is a bit of an odd combination. It's quite cool, very demonic. And his bot mode, you know, I like the head with the massive horns here. That's cool. But his bot mode is a bit odd. Of course, he's got, you know, the head in his chest like everything else. Sculpted bull bat buttocks. But he's got a sort of flapping wing feature which I can't quite fathom out. I guess there's like a button on his back, and I guess you're sort of meant to press that and then the wings like snap shut or something. But I don't really know what's going on there either. And as a robot, he really doesn't look very robot-y. He's just an odd collection of different bits of a slightly scary looking thing with these odd bat arm claw things. I mean, these are his sort of front claws in beast mode. Neither bats nor bulls have hands. What is going on there? But he's a suitably dark creature of the night. And he's a marksman, of course, so you have to sort of rob him of any sort of actually evil connotations he might have. So, for those two, for, you know, free of charge, that was just really nice. That was something good to know that I was getting a package coming to me, and, you know, it's always good to have that. And then Eddie threw in some bonus stuff. I've got no real idea what these are. They're little squishy things, and my favourite is the sort of Grimlock wannabe, a little robot T-Rexy thing. Yeah, there's a few here, and they're all quite odd, and I suppose this three-eyed alien one's quite funny as well. And then there's an alien playing a guitar, and there's a turkey and a vulture. I don't know what they are, but for free of charge again, they're something fun. But will inevitably go and live in a drawer somewhere. So, onto the item that I actually did purchase this week. As a bit of a sort of odd twist, I found myself really wanting one of those construct bots. I'd seen pictures and stuff that came out and thought, that's quite clever, I'm going to see how it pans out, I'm mildly interested. Then I saw a couple of reviews and thought, actually those look really good, and then I just saw more and more, and the more I saw, the more I just wanted one. And I went into Argos and has a look, because they're the only place that stocks ones apart from the elite class, because every like supermarket has just got Wheeljack and Soundwave and they're 15 quid, and I thought, don't really want to spend that much as my first one. So I went in Argos thinking I could just pick up one of the scout size ones. Well, they're not really sized differently, just the number of pieces you get is different. And I thought maybe I could get Ironhide, and, you know, that'd be nice. They didn't have any of those, but the elite ones, which were 15 quid everywhere else, were only 11 quid in there. And I bagged the last one in there. And I'm a very proud owner of a Soundwave. This thing. I love this so much. It scratches so many itches. It is just bossly and excellent in so many ways. It's a lot of what I guess I wanted somehow. And you can see, just, you know, it's big. Look at it. You get a lot of stuff going on here. It's got to be the size of like a Voyager figure. And so much I could talk about this for, and I'm seriously planning to do a review because there's a lot of stuff I like, least of which the perfect Soundwave head sculpt. Oh man, I mean, and the fact that you don't have to take it apart to transform it. I mean, I guess that fact could, you know, I could get a bit bored of, you know, that really in the long run when I've had some more and feel firsthand that every transformation is the same, because they do all transform the same, you know, just there's little tweaks here and there, but it's the same thing going on every time. I guess with this first one I can sort of bask in the wonder of the fact that I've got a construction toy that is a transformer. I don't have to dismantle to transform it. It just has so much character somehow, even though, you know, there are probably a hell of a lot of shared parts here. I know at least, you know, the base skeleton is going to be the same for every single figure, and there's probably armour bits that are the same as well, but it's just unique. It's Soundwave. You take one look at this tapey deck chest and the head, and well, I've got it set up a bit differently into how you're supposed to in the instructions. I've got, you know, the one cannon on his shoulder like he should have, and he's holding the other one in his hand, and yes, they are suitably battery shaped. It's just a win, and put me down for the rest of them, because I cannot wait to be able to have a few of these and just go to town making something. I mean, even just with all the bits you get with this guy, I've been able to do a few different robot modes, a few different vehicle modes. There's enough bits here that actually I've been able to make a sort of slightly dirge looking robot, because you can put the wings on his legs and you can just, yeah, make it look a bit seekery. It's just excellent. I could go on, and it's just why I should probably stop and just say I'd like to do a review. Have a look out for that. I don't know when I'm going to get the chance to film it, but yeah, I've just got to show this off in all of its glory and do it proper justice, because I've not been so sort of excited and amazed by a new figure in such a long time, and this is a completely new thing. It's not just getting a nice new transformer that is like every other transformer. This is new. I built this myself, and I can take it apart and change it and have it how I want it, and then get others and make a completely new one that's entirely unique. And I guess I miss Bionicle, so there's a small factor of that playing in this. But I'm just going to have to stop myself from talking about this and say that if you need more convincing to buy this or any one of these Construct bots, it has mini-con ports. It has mini-con ports. Need I say more? This thing has everything. Seriously, look, it's a 5mm post and it's got a hole in it. I have put mini-cons on here. They work. It does not break them. They do not break this. It's a mini-con port on a construction toy. So yeah, Soundwave here is pretty much the big winner at the moment. Although of course everything else I've shown you has been just excellent and has just satisfied me greatly, until of course the time had come that I end up getting something better. So there you have it. That's been all the excellent plastic that I have bought myself for the first couple of weeks of August. And there's going to be, at least I know, one little more thing coming, because I won an auction on eBay the other day. It's going to be a bit annoying because I'm going to have to sell off part of it, because I only actually wanted one figure out of the 5 I paid for. But they're legends, so it's alright. I'm going to sign off now. Go buy yourself a Construct bot. Just do it. Just do it. And stay tuned for more stuff, because I've got a couple of reviews set up on the way, and hopefully I'll actually get to film them soon. Yeah. Bye!